Believe it or not, it was a time where real models didn't want to be bothered with you hip hop rap niggas. You niggas was like roaches, the scum of the earth beneath the shoe. I don't know how the tides turned, but the model was the prize, and they would never intermingle with you ninjas. No, no, no. Ugh, rapper. Ah! Yellow diamonds look like BP. Daryl said shyly. You should be a model. He looked around at all the statuesque women littering the room. You as hot as any of them. I know, the woman answered matter-of-factly, offended because she'd never said she wasn't. She was only sitting next to Daryl because there was nowhere else to chill. Daryl had intentionally gotten there early to lock down prime seating on the velvet couch in the corner. I'm a record producer, he said, offering a hand, which she took reluctantly. They call me Country D. That's nice, she said, supremely aloof. I work at Triple Large, he offered proudly. A&R, I groom talent. Triple Large, she said, getting interested now. What's floss like? Daryl felt his cell vibrating in his pocket of his jeans. He prayed it was not Lamont. Every time Lamont had a half-baked idea, a minor errand, an outrageous demand, or a completely random thought, Daryl's phone rang, or his pager trilled, or the intercom in his office buzzed. You couldn't just work for Lamont. You had to live for him. Even when Daryl was asleep, Lamont was there. In his dreams, at least in those scenarios, Daryl could come out on top. He looked at the name glowing on the screen and breathed a sigh of relief. It was his boy, Cordell, a producer who'd done some hot tracks for Nelly. He answered, and Cordell said he was going to roll over to Lent with his people. Great, because Daryl had come with only two of his boys, both of whom had seemed to disappear amid the sea of lovelies. He needed a real posse, one that was going to surround him at all times. It would make him look a lot better. Ninjas, the way ninjas think, I swear, be throwing me off. I'm like, what is in your mind? I mean, okay, maybe for a dumb bitch that would be important. I don't know. Bad enough that he'd gotten on the list for the party only by using Lamont's name. If Lamont had been here, Daryl knew his boss would have had his pick of women, even though there was nothing attractive about that slick hustler other than his fat wallet. Those hot chicks Lamont got. Monty hungry hookers. Every last one of them. Daryl tapped the pretty booker on the shoulder. She was trying to act like she was in deep conversation with her equally attractive friend next to her. Floss got a fake leg, he said when she turned around, looking at him like he was the Jehovah's Witness on her doorstep. Pause. Believe it or not, it was a time where real models didn't want to be bothered with you hip hop rap niggas. You niggas was like roaches, the scum of the earth beneath the shoe. I don't know how the tides turned, but the model was the prize, and they would never intermingle with you ninjas. I remember reading that from the Corinne Steffens book. Okay, no. Ugh, rapper. Ah! Don't touch me, you thug. Didn't you know that? More than one. He got a whole bunch in different skin tones. So if he got a tan, he can be one color all over. Finally, she smiled. That's so funny. I read somewhere that he lost his leg in a car accident. I think it's cool that he deals with it so well. Cool? Daryl sneered, annoyed that she wasn't put off by the tidbit of inside information. That shit is nasty, he almost added, if you ask me, until he realized she hadn't. It'd been a long time since Lamont had found himself home alone before midnight on a Saturday night. But here he was, He, Nate, and Alonzo had gone to see the new Al Pacino movie. Afterward, they couldn't remember where that model party was being held tonight. Imani, always on duty, for once hadn't picked up her cell to give them the location, so they called it a night. Bored, he opened a bag of chocolate chip cookies in the kitchen. His binging was getting out of control, and the way he'd taken to standing and evaluating his body from every angle in the full-length mirror, he was becoming positively girlish. It was awful, and he had to cut it out. Only one, he told himself before eating the first cookie, and last one before eating the next 10, until there really was only one left, and his binge was forced to come to an end. He dusted cookie crumbs from his hands over the kitchen sink and washed the snack down with a glass of 2% milk. He was thoroughly disgusted with himself. Let's talk about food addiction. So although Lamont has himself together, he is that guy in regards to the record industry. He can make or break you. He can pick you up and drop you off. He still has an addiction. No, it's not an addiction that you have to creep around in the dark and sit. Well, I can't even say that. And I was about to say, and send people out to get it so they won't recognize you talking to Leroy in the dark corners of a pool hall. But baby, that addiction, that food addiction, is something that people do not realize how powerful it is, because at least with cigarettes, you have to be at least, is it 18 or 21 to purchase them? To buy a Snicker bar, all you got to do is just have the money. And the greatest addiction, the most choke-holding addiction is sugar. You hear me? Because it does something to your brain cells where the dopamines and cramamines and donanines, they connect and they feel so good. Baby, it has been a time where I have punished cookies, a box of them. You hear me? Oh my God, it's them the vanilla Oreos. Oh my God, they taste like sunshine and cake, and I can't get enough of them. Oh, and don't let me have that 2% milk. Yeah, 2% milk is like eating a Diet Coke with a Big Mac meal extra large. But it's a part of the addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like how a crack addict is like, well, at least I ain't shooting dope. Okay, but baby, you still in that. And I remember this person saying to me, nay, food is not an addiction. If you ain't going outside to suck a dick to get it, then it's not an addiction. All addictions are not the same. Like I said, a food addiction or a sugar addiction, you don't have to go into a dark alley to purchase a quart of butter pecan ice cream. But if you know you shouldn't be doing it, then yeah, you'll try to hide from the people that love you that you're eating foods that could possibly kill you. So don't tell me food is not an addiction, because just like heroin can kill you, food can kill you. It just happens slow. When he flicked on the light in his bedroom, he jumped back so quickly. He banged his elbow on the wall. Kendra, clad in a lacy black negligee, lay atop his comforter. What the fuck? How that hoe get in the house? That's a concern to me. Surprised, she whispered seductively. Are you out of your mind? How did you get in here? He cried. Trevor let me up. Your door was open like always. Trevor who? Your doorman, sweetie pie. Remember, in a thin line between love and hate, Martin Lawrence in the bedroom, knocked out sleep, and then he smelled burnt bacon. He gets up thinking that the house is on fire because the fire alarm sounded, and it's that fucking crazy ass Brandy, beautiful Lynn Whitfield, in the kitchen trying to cook. That bitch almost killed him and her. Lamont unbuttoned his Burberry shirt. That doorman was obviously too susceptible to sweet talk. What if she had been stalking him? Well, you're lucky that I rode in alone, or you would have been really embarrassed. He shook his finger at her. Yeah, Kendra. Suppose he brung some bitches home with him to rub on his belly. Kendra positioned herself into a most flattering pose. So you want me to go? She said coyly. Lamont just smirked and sauntered into his palatial master bathroom. He thought of so wait a minute, he was out there eating all them fucking cookies all that time, and she in the bedroom just laying and waiting for his ass? That is weird. Lamont just smirked and sauntered into his palatial master bathroom. He thought of a saying that had made him roar with laughter when he'd first heard it years ago. Show me a beautiful woman, and I'll show you a man who's tired of fucking her. Who were truer words ever spoken? But after years of hitting it with some of the most beautiful women, it had come to seem more tragic than funny. Years ago, he would have been thrilled to find a creature as sexy as Kendra lying in his bed. Now it barely caused a ripple in his pants. He'd had her countless times. He had to find some new way to ratchet up the excitement these days. You could shoot his wad, no problem, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't a rush. What was left? He'd done it all, tried every position with beautiful women of every shape, size, and creed. Worse yet, he couldn't be as sexually uninhibited as he once was. After a woman he'd once been with later tested HIV positive, he realized he'd dodged a bullet and become more careful. I would think it would be because his stomach is starting to hang over his balls, so maybe he don't want the stomach like... Girl, men with money are funny to me. You can stay, he graciously called out as he took a piss, since you've already made yourself so comfortable. After their brief, titillating encounter at his nephew's birthday party, he'd lived up to his word and called her. A week later, they'd had dinner and wound up sleeping together. It was a nice feeling, familiar, but new at the same time. He'd realized over dinner that he had missed her. He'd never really given himself a chance to consider it. Kendra was a good listener, and unlike other women he dated who always seemed to be mentally tallying up what they could buy with his money, she made him feel like she genuinely cared for him. They slept together a few more times after their reunion. She'd been retested at his request and felt himself easing back into an old groove with her. Then he met Paulo, a Brazilian model who'd he just had to have.